All right, episode 4, Educators Chat. I'm Eric. That's Sarah over there, and you probably know James Reed as well. James is from Holdrege, and gracious enough to bless us with some time this morning. And well, he froze up for a second. That was hilarious. You waved, James, and he froze up again. So you waved and you froze in a wave. But we'll see how the internet connection for everybody is today. But thanks for jumping on here. And we're trying to just everybody's dealing with everything that's going on, and we all got shoved off into the deep end at the same time, basically. So what's going on in Holdrege at the school, in the community that is going well for you guys right
now? Things that are going well, we've started a hashtag Duster Grad 2020, and so we've had a lot of parents posting to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and just getting some positive posts out there. And it's really cool to see the kids. If mom's in control, you're going to see the cute baby picture out there, and then more recent pictures that go out. So that's been cool. I get to help with our social media here, so I'm sharing those things out, and that's been real positive because we've had so much bad news out there. Social distancing, keep it less than 10 people. Just to see positive posts go out there and smiling faces has been great.
That's cool. And you've always been really big on social media, so that's not surprising that you're just amping up your game. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in the community, how the community is helping Holdrege right now.
Well, our school is doing the lunch and breakfast program. So we sent emails out to teachers to get volunteers, and well, not just teachers, all school employees. And we had such a backlog of volunteers that we kind of had to turn some people down, but we have them showing up anyway, just so they can see the kids. And so when the families come through, you can see, and I'm trying every day to go by and get a picture of the volunteers. You can see the little hands sticking out the window, waving at their favorite teacher, or it might be a para or a custodian or a maintenance person or a principal that's out there. And, the kids, they just light up. And that's why we're in this business. It's all about the kids. And to see those kids, I was there the other day, and there was a first grader. His name's Chris, and I'm wearing the fist bump shirt. We fist bump every day. He sees me, and the fist comes out of the window. And I said, "Sorry, buddy, but we can't do that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." So he was a little disappointed, but made my day just to see the kid. And the community's been great because we, in our local grocery stores, we're doing social distancing. We have one-way aisles now, and whatever we can do to keep this virus from spreading in Holdrege. We do have one confirmed case here. I think people are doing it. You see more friendly people. My wife and I like to go on walks. People are always friendly anyway, but there's more greetings and people waving at each other, even if you're driving around town. So I think it's brought us closer together as a community.
I think it's been fascinating to watch and hear of some stories, just like what you were saying. And I also want to give you props for that awesome backdrop, similar to my own, in fact. Tell us what we're going to do with that backdrop coming up, because you've got some important things coming for Holdrege in the school system that that particular backdrop is going to get used for.
We're using the backdrop. In fact, we're using it today because we're doing a virtual graduation. We have all the seniors coming in either today or tomorrow to get pictures of them in their cap and gown. The honor students get their medal, and we have quite the process. Each has an individual robe. They put it on. We get them in front of the backdrop. We get a few pictures of the kids, and then they move on through. And we're going to use those pictures as part of our graduation ceremony. We're getting some extra pictures of the honor students. So during that part of the traditional ceremony, we will have a different picture of those kids. We're also using a senior spotlight series. So it's kind of a sneaky way for me to get the senior pictures from the kids that they like. So I shared it out in a Google Classroom. And so they put it together. They're putting down who their hero is. And I'm really disappointed my name has not come up. There's still hope. But so we're getting that, putting it out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and it's coming from the seniors. So that's really cool. We're going to use those senior pictures for honors night. We will use the senior spotlights as kind of our recessional, I believe, for our graduation. So we'll get those pictures going as the students are leaving the graduation, and it's another way to honor those kids. So we're hoping for 100% participation. I was sending messages to a student last night. She didn't like the picture she had submitted or whatever, and I was like, you are doing this, and every student's going to do this. So yeah. If I need to get a picture of you, I will. But her mom used the hashtag, we're doing a Duster Grad 2020, and her mom used that hashtag. And so when I searched for it this morning at like 6 a.m., she had already put a picture out. There's a senior picture out there. So thanks to the moms out there, I will have every senior picture. We're going to be good to go, and we'll get this done to honor these kids.
Oh, that's great. Go moms. I'm curious to know, are you kind of the thought leader around the school hashtag, how you're going to do graduation honors night? Has all of this been like primarily on your plate, or how did you come together as a school to make these decisions?
I've never been described as a thought leader before.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that, should I?
Thank you. If you're watching, please give Sara a follow on any social media platform. I did not pay her to say that. The cool thing about this is we have a great administration, from the superintendent. I mean, we have a great team of people. And so I've met with the superintendent, at least communicated with him every day since we've been going through this. The high school principal every day, the middle school principal, the elementary principal, the athletic director, assistant principal. They are fantastic. And, we throw out some ideas. And, sometimes at the beginning of this process, it was like, hey, let's do this. And then we thought about it more. And the coolest thing about this whole thing was, from the beginning, it was all about the students, what's best for the students. And, we had mentioned maybe doing Zoom for classes. Well, we have some kids that don't have internet at home, and then we address that issue. And so we're stealing ideas from other schools. Millard Public Schools, they did a Millard Grad 2020. And so we are borrowing ideas from other schools. We're inspired by other schools. And so we talk about it. If we think it's going to work, then we go for it. And so far, the reaction, the people, moms mainly, they let us know if it's going to work or not. So if mom embraces it, then we're all for it. And we find out pretty quickly, because we have a couple of senior moms that we are close to. My wife is a senior mom. The superintendent his son is a senior. So we have that connection personally to this senior class. So we want to do everything we can to honor these seniors. And that's not only as an employee, but as a dad.
That's awesome that you guys have put so much thought into it. I know sometimes it's easy to look at an entity and go, well, they made a decision, and it's like, well, it's not. There's not there's actual people involved in those decisions and how to do those things, and sometimes it's easy to overlook that. But I think at this point, everybody is more involved, right? There's probably more people involved in decision making and processes of how things should be done going forward. Is that one of the things maybe that you think might be a new normal when we eventually come out of this, right? And there's some sort of normal that returns. Is that part of the new normal?
Well, I think our administrators already had a great team effort already. But maybe more input from other people might come out of this. I've reached out to a couple of students. We have a loud crowd, and they're great. I mean, they show up, they're loud at every game. And so I reached out to one of their leaders and said, hey, we need some positive social media stuff going out. And at Holdrege High School, they do this thing. It's kind of like the Go Big Red chant, where one guy yells out HHS, and then you get a response. So I'd love for our kids to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it may be virtually or whatever, but I think that'd be kind of cool. But I'd like to see more things coming from the students. And if it's something that I could also put into the graduation video, then I would do that as well. But just more of a team effort. You know, one of my daughter's favorite movie series is the High School Musical series, and having driven a van with a DVD player in it, I have heard every High School Music video repeatedly. So one thing, and I put this out on Instagram, I believe, we're all in this together. And that comes from the High School Musical movies. And it really applies to today. And these senior kids, they, especially the girls, those Troy Bolton High School Musical, they understand, you know, we're all in this together. And these kids are, it's amazing. They're showing up this morning. 8 o'clock is when we started. And I mean, that's like 4 a.m. on a normal school day for these kids, because they're sleeping in till 10 or 11 o'clock, because very few are working right now. I mean, it's April, it's school time. So, but they're rolling in, and we're getting their pictures done, and we're getting to connect these kids one more time, which is great, and ask how they're doing. We've got the counselor here, and she's talking to these kids as well. And so it's another way that we can check up on the seniors and make sure they're doing okay. And, you know, we'll follow up if we need to, because it's tough on everybody. And, you know, we care about the kids. And if nothing else comes out of this, our community will know that we care about the kids, number one. And part of caring about the kids is you also care about their families and their home situation. And that's what I've seen from day one of all of this, is let's discuss the kids and their well-being first.
James, do you have any other final thoughts that you would like to share with other educators?
I guess what I'd have other educators take away from this is, number one, don't worry about the assignments, worry about the kid. And if they do anything class-wise, that's a bonus. Worry about their mental health. Let them know you care about them. My daughters are getting assignments. They're getting emails, and they are being bombarded by emails. Kids don't like that. If you're going to email your students, ask how they're doing. That's what they enjoy. They may not respond, but they're telling their parents, this teacher asked how I was doing, and said, if there's anything I can do for them, you know, let me know. That's what the kids appreciate. Those are the teachers that the kids know that they care about them. And the kid will do more in those classes than they will when they just get an email, here's your assignments. And because the assignment, the education part is secondary to the relationships that we build with these kids. And I see it as a father, I see it as an educator. And the other thing is, keep it simple. I mean, if kids have not done something before, trying to introduce it remotely is not the way to go. I mean, we kept our alternative education plan very simple. The kids in grades 7 through 12 take home Chromebooks, and they all know how to use Google Classroom. Did all the teachers know how to use it? No. We trained some of the teachers, and we had teacher leaders step up and train those other teachers that were not familiar with it. We've had people ask if they can use Zoom. Sure, but we had to think about, what are you going to do if you have discipline issues? how do you discipline a kid that is in a Zoom classroom? It's kind of difficult to do. And we didn't want to put that on our principals, and our principals, they readily agreed. They didn't want to deal with those issues. So teachers are reaching out maybe 2 or 3 kids at a time and connecting with those kids and parents appreciate that, and so do the kids. And the teachers, they need to see the kids too, because if you're in this business and you're not missing the kids, you need to retire or get out of this business, because it is all about the kids. And that's what makes education great. Seeing what a kid does, whether it's from kindergarten through the time they graduate, or just during the school year, how far they come. I really can't go on, because when I mention graduation, I think of my daughter and her friends, and I've known these kids since they were in kindergarten, and they were doing sleepovers at my house. And I've watched them on the dance team. I've watched them do cheer. I've watched them in middle school sports. And I've watched the boys playing basketball, playing football, and all these activities, choir, band concerts, one act play, the spring musical, all of this stuff. And it's taken away from these kids and from the parents. And at Holdrege, we're doing everything we can to make this the best graduation experience that we can give these kids. And if it takes me losing a little bit of sleep, but then a little bit of extra work, I'm willing to do this, because they deserve it.
All right, James, your shirt's awesome, man. So fist bump here.
Thanks, buddy.
You bet. All right, we'll have more episodes, and thanks for the time, James. We will check in soon again.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.